Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the library. It's been a while since I've had you here in the library, and we are joined here in the library by our old friend Ross Hardy, who, if you haven't been able to tell yet, it is Halloween, and he is dressed as
Comrade Castro.
Fidel Castro. That's right, the communist dictator, 90 miles south of Florida, and he has been having a ball as playing the character since he walked in the door.
That's absolutely right, you imperialist big dog.
So we're having a good time here tonight, but we wanted to invite you in to talk about something that we are going to be attempting here coming up starting on November 1st. What some of you may know, and many of you may not know, is that November is National Write a Novel Month. This is also actually the name of the nonprofit that created it. Their job is to promote creative writing and youth literacy all around the world, and this is their big fundraiser that they do every year. And some actually big novels have come out of this. Most recently, The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern was actually a participant in this contest. Now, the contest asks the participants to write 50,000 words. I'm a school teacher. Ross has a full-time job himself. Neither of us feel like we can write 50,000 words.
Right.
But our goal is to write something of somewhat significant length over the next 30 days of November.
Is the idea to get something of significant length or something done? Something complete?
Something of significant length and complete.
And okay,
both.
All right.
We're going for both. You can tell we really have thought this through, which may be our downfall or may be the secret to our success.
Always keep them guessing.
Exactly. So, at the end of this month, and my hope is to have maybe a video check-in with Ross and our friend Mary Kathryn, who has also been on 1,000 Words or Less before as well, is participating with us. She just couldn't make it here tonight, but hopefully we'll get a check-in video with her, and then hopefully she'll also be able to be present for an end-of-the-month video when we really talk about what we have completed. But Ross, do you want to start and talk a little bit, obviously not give too much away, but do you want to talk a little bit what you're going to be working on this month?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you again for having me, Yankee Aggressor.
As a Southerner, I am horribly offended.
I've known of the National Novel Writing Project for a while, and I've never participated for basically the same reason of just like 50,000 words is a huge commitment. And I've heard stories about people who just, write 100 words a day, they just type blah 50,000 times. And that, because the purpose of it is to get you used to writing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea is if you get to 50,000 words, you have to write, whatever the math is, 1,500, 1,800 words a day.
Right.
So
I can't do that.
Yeah. But if you write 1,800 words a day, eventually some of them will be good. And then you can use those good words and start and make something that's really, really good. So it's as a inspiration or as a motivating force to get a project off the ground. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really good and motivator to get people moving. So to that end, I've got a project that's been stalled for a little bit, and I've talked to you about it. I'm being extra pretentious and writing a screenplay. I don't know anything about writing screenplays, which I think my ignorance is a benefit, because I'm not allowing myself to psych myself out. But my feelings are, if I don't know anything about how screenplays are supposed to look, I won't be intimidated when I look upon mine and realize it's completely inadequate. But I want to write a horror comedy.
Okay.
So the screenplay is about a man who finds a cursed knife, and the knife drives him ultimately to madness and self-destruction, as all good cursed items do. And it would have been better if we could have run this in October, because it is kind of spooky. But it's I wanted to do something that's a throwback to not even a throwback. I'm not that steeped in horror movies to be able to name any particular one, but I enjoy the schlocky, gore fest 80s, chopping mall and death spa, and these really over the top, just hyper violent, kind of winking at the camera like we're familiar with how silly and ridiculous it is, but also you try to, actually interrogate something about, like, the best horror movies are always about how, like, the monsters are always inside us, right?
Right.
So I want to actually try to explore something, and maybe by engaging in this process, this writing process, I'll be able to get myself unstuck, because I feel like I'm about 80%. But the gears are just jammed in there, so I've got to bust everything loose, and I think this is the way to do it.
Okay, and I am like you. It's an idea that's kind of been percolating for a long time. I did write literally a page, not a page in Microsoft Word, a page in this book right here. You will not be able to read it from there, but that much. You'll have to wait and see. But the idea is an epistolary novel. So a novel made up of letters.
Okay. Aren't all novels made of letters? And aren't those letters arranged
different kind of letter? And not the first person who's made that joke to me. That's my ambition. I think that also might help in where we have such a condensed frame where everything can actually be rather short segments to write. So that might be very useful to kind of avoid getting stalled. So we'll see if that works out to my advantage or not. A bit, I always write the fantastic, so there's it's a bit of a fantasy story of kingdom being invaded, but where the letters are all on the frontier, kind of the last outpost on the flank, and what happens when the battle comes to them. And there's a home front side of things and all that in my head as well.
We get to see both sides. We get to see the...
that could happen, or at least some glimpses of that. Currently, it's kind of one side. We're looking at just the people at the outpost, not the invaders.
No, I don't know. I don't want to say too much, because if this might be something...
And we say currently, it's literally one page right now.
But this might be something you're trying to hold back, so just, tell me to shut up if you need me to. But the idea of a monster at the edge of a kingdom, is this something that's in the Great Beast Cometh canon, or is that something you've talked about on this channel? Am I pulling the curtain back on something?
So you're pulling the curtain back a little bit. For those of y'all who follow me on Instagram or Facebook, which you should do, you may have seen mention of completing a work late last year that is still stalled on the editing side, but it's actually got a complete draft. But it was a big fantasy work that I'm very proud of, and I really hope that you're going to be able to see one day when I get it just right and get it out there through a publisher. But this is that's a standalone story, and this is standalone, separate from that, and not really within the same universe. Yeah. But I will tell you this, and I told Ross this before, and I was going to say this, and because he is under no pressure to follow suit. If what I complete in November is to my liking and I actually complete, I will actually publish it on Amazon. We'll put a book out version of it. Obviously, I'll clean it up and make sure it's edited, and I won't just put out what is done.
So it's not December 1st.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah, all the typos and everything. Yep. No, we'll get rid of all the typos and everything that will inevitably be there. So I would imagine somewhere around late winter, early spring would be where we could look out for that. So hopefully this will be successful, because I feel like I'm due for a book. So
absolutely.
And then our friend Mary Kathryn, we did mention she's participating well. She has been a lot more cagey about what she's writing, but she did describe it as kind of memoir-esque, but fictionalized. It's not her memoir, but it's a kind of a fictionalized memoir genre, and that's kind of all she's allowed me in to know about. So hopefully we can get a check-in video with her at some point this month, and she'll let us talk a little bit more about what she's working on.
Indeed.
So Ross, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
That's fine.
As I said, we're going to have a couple check-in videos over the course of the month, and we'll have a video at the end of the month. So keep checking back to see how we're doing and how much our anxiety and panic attacks are setting in, that we're not living up to our own ambition. And then at the end of the month, when we miraculously succeed.
Pull it all together.
And we pop the champagne right here on the channel. So we look forward to taking this journey with y'all, and thank y'all for coming in the library again. And we will talk to you very soon.
Hasta la victoria siempre.
Yeah, have a wonderful evening.